The Old Man's Mitten.
Once upon a time, on a cold, cold day, an old man was walking in the forest with his dog. He walked and walked, and he dropped one of his mittens. But he didn't notice, and he and the dog walked on. Just then, a mouse came running up. And when he saw the mitten, the mouse stopped. He climbed right in, and then the mouse said,
"Oh, this is where I'm going to live."
After a while, a frog came hopping up. And when the frog saw the mitten, he stopped and called out,
"Croak, who's living in this mitten?"
I am Crunch Munch the mouse. Who are you?
"Croak, I'm Hop Stop the frog. Let me in."
Oh, all right. Jump in.
So the frog jumped in,
"Croak,
the mouse moved over, and the two of them made their home in the mitten.
croak, croak, croak."
After a while, a rabbit came scurrying up. And when the rabbit saw the mitten, he stopped and called out, "Hello there! Who's living in this mitten?"
"We are,
Crunch Munch the mouse.
and Hop Stop the frog. Who are you?"
"I'm Fleet Feet the rabbit. May I join you?"
"All right, jump in."
So the rabbit jumped in, and the mouse and the frog moved over,
Croak,
and the three of them made their home in the mitten.
croak.
After a while, a fox came scampering up.
Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo! Who's living in this mitten?
"We are, Croak,
Crunch Munch the mouse.
Hop Stop the frog.
And Fleet Feet the rabbit.
And who are you?"
I'm Smiley Wiley the fox. Won't you make room for me?
So the mouse and the frog and the rabbit moved over, and the fox climbed in. And the four of them made their home in the mitten.
Excuse me.
My fault.
It was getting to be a bit of a crush in that mitten. After a while, a wolf came stalking up. And when the wolf saw the mitten, he stopped and called out,
Whoa! Hello, friends. Who's living in this mitten?
We are
Crunch Munch the mouse.
Hop Stop the frog.
Fleet Feet the rabbit.
Smiley Wiley the fox.
And who are you?
I'm Holy Prowly the wolf, and I mean to get in.
All right, go ahead.
So the wolf climbed in, and the mouse and the frog and the rabbit and the fox moved over,
Your beak.
and the five of them made their home in the mitten.
Oh, get off.
What a crash!
Oh.
By and by, a bear came stamping up. And when he saw the mitten, he stopped and bellowed.
Hello, good people. Who's living in this mitten?
We are
Crunch Munch the mouse.
Hop Stop the frog.
Fleet Feet the rabbit.
Smiley Wiley the fox.
And Holy Prowly the wolf.
And
Who are you?
I'm Grumbly Rumbly the bear. And though you're quite a crowd, I know you'll make room for me.
All right.
But don't forget, you're not the only one.
So the bear squeezed in too. And now there were 6 of them inside. And they were so cramped that the mitten was fit to burst. It was just about then that the old man missed his mitten and decided to go back to look for it. He walked and he walked, and his dog ran and ran, and he ran well ahead. And at last he saw the Mitten lying in the snow. And moving. Woof, 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 went the dog. And all the friends inside the Mitten were so frightened, they jumped out and ran away as fast as their legs could carry them. Then the old man came up and he picked up his Mitten, and that was the end of that.
This is the way we shiver and shake.
Ooh, shiver and shake, shiver and shake.
Oh, this is the way we shiver and shake.
On a cold and frosty morning. This is the way we rub our hands.
Rub our hands, rub our hands.
This is the way we rub our hands.
On a cold and frosty morning. This is the way we jump up and down.
Jump up and down, jump up and down.
This is the way we jump up and down.
On a cold and frosty morning.
Here's a story about the dog next door.
A boy tells this story, and I'm going to be that boy.
Next door to our house, there's a dog we like to play with. He doesn't bite, he just licks you. But he's a bad dog. One day, the dog next door knocked the lid off our garbage bin. He pulled out some old chicken bones wrapped in wet newspaper. He pulled out some eggshells and made a big mess on our lawn. He pulled out lots of papers and cans and old milk cartons and scattered them all along the street. The smell was terrible. When Dad saw what the dog next door had done, he was very angry.
That dog should be locked up.
The dog next door is a bad dog. The dog next door went down the street to Mrs. Murphy's house and dug a hole in her garden. He pulled out all her flowers and chewed them up. He made a big mess. When Mrs. Murphy saw what the dog next door had done, she was very angry.
That dog should be locked up.
So Dad and Mrs. Murphy went to see the lady next door who owned the bad dog. They knocked on the door and they rang on the bell. At last the lady next door came to see what they wanted.
Oh, hello. What can I do for you?
It's about your dog. He knocked the lid off our garbage bin and made a big mess.
And he dug up my garden.
That dog ought to be locked up.
Oh, I am sorry. I'll have to do something about this.
So the lady next door locked the dog next door in her garage. All day we could hear him whining and scratching, wanting to be let out. You could just see his wet nose poking out from under the garage door. And at night he howled. Oh, it was very sad. So Dad and Mrs. Murphy went to see the lady next door again.
Oh, hello. What can I do for you this time?
It's about your dog. It seems cruel to keep him locked up all day.
If you let him out, I'll keep my gate shut so that he can't dig up my garden again.
And I'll put a brick on top of our garbage bin so that he can't knock the lid off.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure my dog would like to be let out.
So Mrs. Murphy went home and shut her gate, and Dad came home and put a brick on top of our garbage bin. And the lady next door opened the garage door, and out came the dog. Oh, he was so happy. He jumped up and down, barking and wagging his tail. He was so happy, he knocked our garbage bin right over, brick and all. He was so happy, he jumped right over Mrs. Murphy's gate and dug up her garden. He made another big mess. The dog next door is a bad dog, but we still like to play with him. He doesn't bite, he just licks you. I have a little dog and his name is Spot. Sometimes he is good, sometimes he is not. I put him in the yard one day and said, from puddles you keep away. Spot, 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 spot. Sometimes he is good, sometimes he is not.
Marmalade was an orange cat, the colour of marmalade jam.
I'm the king of cats,
he said.
That's who I am.
Marmalade sat on my front doormat. I couldn't get into the house. Shoo and scat, you marmalade cat. Go away. Go chase a mouse. He stretched his paws. Out popped his claws.
Hiss,
he said, which meant...
Drop dead. I'm Marmalade. I'm not afraid of you.
So now I have this marmalade cat who often sits on my front doormat, and I let him. The old grey cat is sleeping, sleeping, sleeping. The old grey cat is sleeping in the house.
The little mice are creeping, creeping, creeping. The little mice are creeping through the house. The little mice are nibbling, nibbling, nibbling. The little mice are nibbling in the house. The little mice are sleeping, sleeping, sleeping. The little mice are sleeping in the house.
The old grey cat comes creeping, creeping, creeping. The old grey cat comes creeping through the house.
The little mice all scamper, scamper, scamper. The little mice all scamper through the house.
This story's called Jimmy's Box. Once upon a time, a boy named Jimmy was walking down the road when he found a box. Jim picked up the box. It wasn't heavy, so he carried it all the way home.
Mum, come and see what I've got.
Jim put the box on the kitchen table and sat down. what was in it. Just then his mother came in.
Where did the box come from, Jimmy?
I found it on the road.
What's inside it?
A dragon.
A dragon? How do you know? Have you looked inside your box?
No, but I can hear him scratching. He's inside, trying to scratch his way out. So look out.
I can hear something scratching.
I told you, it's a dragon.
I can't hear him anymore.
That's all right. He's having a sleep now. He's tired after all that scratching. Go to sleep, little dragon. When Jim's father came home from work, there was Jim, sitting at the table, watching his box.
Evening.
Hello, Dad.
What have you got there, son?
A box that I found down the road.
Oh, what's inside it?
A furry monster.
A furry monster? How do you know? Have you looked?
No, but I can hear him breathing. There, he's breathing. It is a furry monster.
I can hear something breathing, but it isn't making any other sound.
Oh, now he's not breathing. That's all right. He's frightened and he's hiding. He's frightened of your loud voice. He hasn't heard it before. Never mind, furry monster. Don't be frightened. Dad won't hurt you. When Jim's sister came home from school, Jim was still sitting at the table, watching his box.
Hi, Jim. Where did you get that box?
I found it down the road.
Oh, what's inside it?
A robot.
A robot? How do you know? Have you looked inside?
No, but I can hear its engine motor running. It's a very quiet one. It's running now.
Are you sure it's an engine, Jim?
Sure. It's not very loud because the robot's resting now. I'll give you a call if it moves later. At dinner time, when Jim's father, mother and sister came into the kitchen, Jim was just beginning to open the box.
Don't let your dragon out in my kitchen, Jim.
If that furry monster's coming out, I'm going to the club.
I can't wait to see your robot, Jim.
Just a moment. I'm going to get it a bowl of milk.
A robot that drinks milk?
A furry monster that likes milk.
Do dragons like milk?
Yes. There you are, a nice bowl of milk. You can come out now. But everyone has to close their eyes while I open the box.
Oh,
all right.
All right.
Are all eyes closed? You can open your eyes now.
There's nothing there.
No. He decided he didn't like milk, so he's gone home. And that's the end of the story. Do you know what it was? Do you think it really could have been a monster? A robot? Or even a dragon?
I'm Fiery Fred the Dragon, with a huff, 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 and a puff, 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 and a roar. I'm a very friendly dragon, with a huff, 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 and a puff, 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 and a roar.
This story is about 4 animals. It's called The 4 Musicians. Once upon a time, there was an old, old donkey.
E-oh, e-oh.
The old donkey had worked very hard for many years, but now he was too old to carry heavy bags of wheat for the farmer. The farmer said, "If you can't work any more, donkey, I don't want you."
E-oh, e-oh.
The donkey decided to go away.
E-oh. I may be too old to work, but my voice is as strong as ever. E-oh, e-oh. People would like to hear me sing, so I'll go to the city and be a musician. I'll sing in a band.
So the donkey hobbled slowly along the road to the city. He hadn't gone very far before he met a sad little dog.
What's the matter, little dog?
Oh, I'm too old to work anymore. I'm too slow chasing the sheep. The farmer doesn't want me anymore.
Can you sing, little dog?
Woof, woof, can I? Woof.
Beautiful, beautiful. What a wonderful voice you have. I'm going to the city to be a musician. You can come too.
Oh, thank you, donkey.
E-aw, e-aw.
So the dog and the donkey hobbled slowly along the road to the city. They hadn't gone very far before they met a sad little cat.
What's the matter, little cat?
Meow. I'm too old to work. I can't run fast enough to catch mice, so the farmer doesn't want me anymore. Meow.
Eeyaw. Can you sing, little cat?
Meow. Can I? Meow, 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 meow.
Eeyaw.
That's good.
What a wonderful voice you have. Look here, cat. We're going to the city to be musicians. You can come too.
Meow. I will. Meow.
Woof, woof, woof. Let's go.
So the cat and the dog and the donkey hobbled slowly along the road to the city. They hadn't gone very far before they met a sad little rooster.
Eeyaw, eeyaw. What's the matter, little rooster?
I'm too old to work. I don't get up in the morning early enough to wake everyone up. The farmer doesn't want me anymore.
Eeyaw, eeyaw. Can you sing, little rooster?
Can I?
Beautiful.
That's good. That's good.
Meow. I like that.
What a wonderful voice you have. Look here, rooster. We're going to the city to be musicians. You can come too.
Meow.
Yes.
I'll come too.
Let's go.
This way. Eeyaw, this way. No, this way.
So the rooster and the cat and the dog and the donkey hobbled slowly along the road to the city. They walked and they walked until it was night time.
I can't go any further. I'm tired.
So the cat, the dog, and the donkey decided to rest for the night under a tree beside the road. And the rooster flew up into a branch.
Oh, I can see a light. There must be a house in the forest.
Let's go there. They might have some hay.
And some cream.
And some bones.
Let's go.
So the four friends went up to the house and Donkey looked through the window.
What do you see?
I see this is a robber's house with lots of money and jewels. The robbers are sitting at a table with food and drink everywhere.
Let me see.
Barked the dog and jumped onto the donkey's back.
Meow, let me see.
Meowed the cat and jumped onto the dog's back.
Let me see.
Crowed the rooster and jumped onto the cat's back.
Perhaps they'll give us some food if we sing to them.
So the four animals began to sing.
Hey, fiddly-dee, a musician's life for me.
Then the four animals fell through the window with a terrible noise. The robbers were frightened and they ran away.
Run! Let me get out of here!
The four friends were very hungry and they ate all the food and drank all the drink. And then they looked for a place to sleep.
Night, night.
Night.
Soon they were all asleep. In the middle of the night, the robbers came back.
You wait out here while I go inside and look.
One of the robbers crept inside, but he couldn't see, and he fell over the table.
Wow!
This woke up the cat.
Meow!
And the rooster.
Oh, help!
As the robber ran to the door, he fell over the dog, who bit his leg.
Whoa!
Then the robber rushed into the yard and bumped into the donkey. So the robbers went away and never came back. But the donkey and the dog and the cat and the rooster liked the house so much they stayed there. And they never went to the city to be musicians.
Sweetly sings the donkey at the break of day. If you do not feed him, this is what he'll say.
Ee-aw, 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 ee-aw.
Ee-aw, 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 ee-aw.
Ride on your donkey, ride up and down. Ride on your donkey all the way to town.
Hey, ho, away we go. Donkey riding, hey, ho, away we go. Riding on a donkey, hey, ho, away we go. Donkey riding, hey, ho, away we go. Riding
This is the story of Henny Penny. Once upon a time, there was a little hen called Henny Penny. One day, Henny Penny was pecking about. Peck, peck, pecking, looking for something to eat, when, all of a sudden, a nut fell from a tree and hit Henny Penny on the head.
What was that?
Now, Henny Penny was a silly little hen, and when the nut hit her on the head, she thought,
Was it a bit of sky that hit me on the head? The sky? Don't tell me the sky's falling in. I must tell the king.
And off went Henny Penny, hop, hop, flappity hop, to tell the king. On the way, she met Cocky Locky the rooster, and Cocky Locky said, "Where are you going, Henny Penny?"
Oh, Cocky Locky, don't you know? The sky's falling in. The sky's falling in. I must tell the king.
The sky's falling in. We must tell the king. And off went Henny Penny and Cocky Locky. Hop, hop, flappity hop, strut, strut, off to tell the king. On the way, they met Ducky Daddles the duck, and Ducky Daddles said,
Whack, 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 whack. Where are you going?
Oh, Ducky Daddles, don't you know? The sky's falling in. The sky's falling in. We must tell the king.
The sky's falling in. Quack, 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 quack. We must tell the king. Quack, 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 quack.
And off went Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, and Ducky Daddles. Hop, hop, flappity hop, strut, strut, wibble wobble, off to tell the king. On the way, they met Goosey Poosey the goose, and Goosey Poosey said,
Where are you going?
Oh, Goosey Poosey, don't you know? The sky's falling in. The sky's falling in. We must tell the king.
The sky's falling in? We must tell the king.
And off went Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Daddles, and Goosey Poosey. Hop, hop, flappity hop, strut, strut, wibble wobble, giggle gaggle, off to tell the king. On the way, they met Turkey Lurkey, the turkey, and Turkey Lurkey said,
Where are you going?
Oh,
Turkey Lurkey, don't you know? The sky's falling in. The sky's falling in. We must tell the king.
The sky's falling in. We must tell the king.
And off went Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Daddles, Goosey Poosey, and Turkey Lurkey. Hop, hop, flappity hop, strut, strut, wibble wobble, giggle gaggle, gobbledy-gook, off to tell the king. Now on the way they met Foxy Loxy the fox, and Foxy Loxy said, Where are you going?
Oh, Foxy
Loxy, don't you know?
The sky's falling in. The sky's falling in.
We must tell the king. The sky's falling in? Oh, what a terrible thing. Yes, yes, you must tell the king. Come with me. I'll show you the quickest way. And off went Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Daddles, Goosey Poosey, Turkey Lurkey, and Foxy Loxy. Hop, hop, flappity hop, strut, strut, wibble wobble, giggle, gaggle, gobbledy-gook, lopety-lope. Off they went down a tunnel into a dark hole. But it wasn't where the king lived. It was where Foxy Loxy lived.
Is this where the king lives? It's very dark.
No, it's where I live, and now I'm going to eat you all up. But the 5 friends didn't want to be Foxy Loxy's lunch. So Turkey Lurkey grabbed Foxy Loxy's tail. Goosey Poosey bit him on the bottom. Ducky Daddles donked him on the head.
Whack, 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 whack.
While Henny Penny pecked Foxy Loxy all over. Let me go! And Foxy Loxy ran off with Turkey Lurkey still hanging onto his tail until he remembered to let go. Foxy Loxy was never seen again. But Turkey Lurkey, Goosey Poosey, Ducky Daddles, Cocky Locky and Henny Penny had had such a fright that they forgot all about the sky falling in and never did tell the king.
There's a fox out hunting. There's a fox out hunting. There's a fox out hunting. Fiddle-I-O. There's a fox out hunting. There's a fox out hunting. There's a fox out hunting. Fiddle-I-O.
This story is called A Pile of Clothes. Once there was a little girl called Gillian.
That's me. I'm Gillian.
Gillian was a nice little girl, a pretty little girl, a happy little girl, except when it was time to take her clothes off.
I love putting on clothes, but I hate taking them off.
She would wriggle and squirm just like a worm. She would jump and pull and fuss and fall, and bounce and roll just like a ball. She would twist and turn, crawl and slide, run away and try to hide. Her mother would say,
Jilly, please stand still while I take off your jumper.
but Gillian wouldn't.
Ow!
One night when her mother tried to take off Jilly's skirt and jumper to put on her pyjamas,
Ow!
and Jilly was jumping and pulling and fussing and falling, her mother said,
Stop! If you fidget and squirm, just like a worm, I will put your pyjamas on top.
And that's just what she did. She put the pyjamas on top of the skirt and jumper.
Ow!
And Jilly went to bed.
Good night, Jilly.
Night, Mum.
But the next morning, when Jilly's mother was trying to take off the pyjamas and the skirt and the jumper, Jilly began jumping and pulling, fussing and falling. So her mother said,
Stop! If you fidget and squirm, just like a worm, I will put your jeans on top.
And that's just what she did.
Ow!
She put Jilly's jeans on top of the pyjamas that were on top of the skirt and jumper, and Jilly went out to play. For 2 days, Jilly kept jumping and pulling, and fussing and falling,
Ow!
And for 2 days her mother kept putting clothes on Jilly and never taking them off.
Oh, Mum!
Until one night Jilly was wearing her father's green pyjamas, on top of her mother's red dress, on top of her brother's yellow pyjamas, on top of her own jeans and shirt, on top of her own pyjamas, on top of her jumper and skirt. Jilly had to be lifted into bed.
Good night, Jilly.
Night, Mum.
The next morning, Jilly's mother went in to wake her up.
Jilly! Ooh, Jilly, darling. Jilly, where are you?
Her mother couldn't see her.
That's not my Jilly in the bed. That's just a pile of clothes. Oh, Jilly, Jilly, where are you hiding?
She looked under the bed.
No, she's not under the bed.
She looked in the wardrobe.
No, she's not in the wardrobe. I'll go and see if she's in the kitchen.
Mum, I am in bed.
Jilly's mother looked again, and just poking out of the top of the pile of clothes on the bed was a head.
Jilly, I thought you were just a pile of clothes.
I feel like a pile of clothes, but I would rather feel like myself.
So Jilly's mother helped her out of bed, and this time when her mother began to undress her, Jilly didn't fidget and squirm just like a worm. She stood as still as she could. Off came her father's green pyjamas. Off came her mother's red dress. Off came her brother's yellow pyjamas. Off came her jeans and shirt. Off came her own pyjamas. Off came her jumper and skirt.
That just leaves my singlet and pants. I can take those off myself.
Come and have a bath, Jilly.
And Jilly went splashing and crashing, plopping and sploshing into a big warm bath. After the bath, and when she had been dried with a towel, Jilly put on clean singlet and pants, and then, do you know what? She was dressed for a party in her very best dress.
I jump out of bed in the morning.
I jump out of bed in the morning.
I jump out of bed in the morning.
I hope it's a very nice day.
I stretch myself in the morning.
I stretch myself in the morning.
I stretch myself in the morning.
I hope it's a very nice day.
I wash myself in the morning.
I wash myself in the morning.
I wash myself in the morning. I hope it's a very nice day.
This story is called Fearless Fred and the Jumble Sale.
One day, a lion called Fearless Fred was walking through the village when he spotted a notice. It read, "Grand Jumble Sale, Saturday afternoon. Bring all your jumble."
That sounds interesting. I've a few old things at home I don't really want any more. I'll bring them here on Saturday afternoon, and I might see something I really need.
So Fred set off for home. On his way, he met Harry the hippopotamus and told him about the jumble sale.
Sounds like a good idea, Fred. I could bring this little stool. It's much too small for me to sit on, and it's very uncomfortable.
OK, Harry. I'll see you at the Jumble Sale on Saturday afternoon.
And off Fearless Fred went. Well, he hadn't gone very far when he felt a few spots of rain, and the wind began to blow. Shh, whoosh. And suddenly, Fred saw something hurtling towards him. It was a huge, bright umbrella. and clinging to the handle was Ronnie the rat.
Oh, that umbrella's a bit big for you, Ronnie Rat.
Yes, it is, Fred.
Why don't you bring it to the Jumble sale on Saturday afternoon? You might find something a bit more your size.
And off went Fearless Fred again. A bit further on his way, he saw Ollie Ostrich coming towards him on a tricycle, looking very uncomfortable.
Hey, Ollie, are you coming to the Jumble sale on Saturday?
Yes, I am. And I'm bringing this awful tricycle. It's most uncomfortable, and I have to push it up the hills. I'll be only too glad to get rid of it.
Off Ollie the Ostrich pedalled, wheezing and gasping. At last, Fearless Fred got home and looked around for something he could take to the Jumble sale. Then he saw an old scooter. He hadn't ridden it for ages. That would do. Saturday came, and Fearless Fred with his scooter, Ollie Ostrich with his tricycle, Harry Hippo with his tiny stool, and Ronnie Rat with his umbrella all bumped into each other on the way to the Jumble sale. Harry Hippo looked at Ronnie Rat's umbrella.
My, that's a fine umbrella, Ronnie Rat. Just what I need to keep me dry.
All right, Harry, and your stool's just the right size for me. Whee!
So they swapped. Then Ollie Ostrich looked at Fearless Fred's scooter.
Oh, I'd be much more comfortable riding that. It's just the right size. Won't you swap your scooter for my tricycle, Fred?
Fearless Fred looked at the tricycle. Ollie Ostrich had polished it up, and it would certainly save his legs. So he agreed, and they swapped.
Okay, Ollie.
They were all so happy with what they'd got, there wasn't much point in going to the Jumble sale, so they all went home. Ronnie had his stool, Harry the big umbrella, Ollie was pushing his scooter, and Fearless Fred was pedalling away furiously on his tricycle as fast as he could.
There was a hippopotamus who never ever got a bus when going from his home into the town. He always rode on roller skates, but roller skates have got no brakes, so he was always knocking people down.
Hey! Ouch!
This jolly hippopotamus was quite amazed at all the fuss he caused when knocking people off their feet.
Ouch!
The hippo told us with a yawn,
I'd better buy myself a horn.
And now he skates in safety down the street. The story of the great, big, enormous turnip. Once upon a time, an old man planted a little turnip and said, "Grow, little turnip, grow so we can make some turnip soup." And the sun shone and the rain fell and the turnip grew and grew and grew until the turnip grew into a great, big, enormous turnip. So the old man went to pull it up. He pulled and pulled again, but he couldn't pull the turnip up. Oh, what a bother! So the old man called the old woman. Old woman, come and help me pull up this turnip." The old woman pulled the old man.
dear me.
What a bother! The old man pulled the turnip, and they pulled and pulled again, but they couldn't pull the turnip up. So the old woman called the little boy.
Little boy, come and help us pull up this turnip.
Oh, all right.
The little boy pulled the old woman.
I'm tugging as hard as I can.
Oh, dear me.
The old woman pulled the old man. Oh, what a bother! And the old man pulled the turnip, and they pulled and pulled again, but they couldn't pull the turnip up. So the little boy called the little girl.
Little girl, come and help us pull up this turnip.
Coming.
The little girl pulled the little boy. The little boy pulled the old woman.
I'm tugging as hard as I can.
Oh, dear me.
And the old woman pulled the old man. Oh, what a bother! The old man pulled the turnip, and they pulled and pulled again, but they couldn't pull the turnip up. So the little girl called the old dog.
Old dog, come and help us pull up this turnip.
So the old dog pulled the little girl. The little girl pulled the little boy.
I can't pull any harder.
And the little boy pulled the old woman.
I'm tugging as hard as I can.
Oh, dear me.
The old woman pulled the old man. What a bother! The old man pulled the turnip, and they pulled and pulled again, but they couldn't pull the turnip up. So the old dog called the cat.
Hey, cat, come and help us pull up this turnip.
Meow, meow. And the cat pulled the old dog. The old dog pulled the little girl. The little girl pulled the little boy.
I can't pull any harder.
The little boy pulled the old woman.
I'm tugging as hard as I can.
Dear me.
The old woman pulled the old man. What a bother! The old man pulled the turnip, and they pulled and pulled again, but they couldn't pull the turnip up. So the cat called the mouse.
Meow, mouse, mouse, come and help us pull up this turnip.
The mouse pulled the cat.
Meow, meow.
The cat pulled the old dog. The old dog pulled the little girl. The little girl pulled the little boy.
I can't pull any harder.
And the little boy pulled the old woman.
I'm tugging as hard as I can.
Dear me.
The old woman pulled the old man. Oh, what a bother! The old man pulled the turnip, and they pulled and pulled again, and... Up came the turnip at last, and they all had turnip soup for tea.
I take a shovel and I dig, dig, dig. I dig, dig, dig. I dig, dig, dig. I take a shovel and I dig, dig, dig. I dig, 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 dig.
I have a little garden I work in every day, and this is what I do there. This is what I do there. This is what I do there. And this is what I say.
I take a shovel and I dig, dig, dig. I dig, dig, dig. I dig, dig, dig. I take a shovel and I dig, dig, dig. I dig, 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 dig.
This is a story about a picnic. Once upon a time, there was a mother and a father, a sister and a brother, and a baby. They lived together in a farmhouse in the country. The farm was called Apple Tree Farm because a big apple tree grew there. On the farm, there were cows, and sheep. And pigs. There was a white cat called Angela. And a watchdog called Bertie. The baby called the pet rabbit Wabbit.
Wabbit, tell me a wabbit.
So Wabbit was its name. And a tiny mouse called Mouse lived on the farm.
I'm hungry.
One day the farmer said to his wife,
Let's go for a picnic.
Oh, yes, what a good idea. I'll pack a lunch basket and get baby ready while you call sister and brother. Oh, and tell them they are to wash and to put on their sun hats.
So they all did everything, and at last they were ready to go on their picnic. Then away they went in the car, down the long, long road and around the corner to where willow trees grew near a bend in the river. Back on the farm, the cows mooed and went on chewing. The sheep said, "Baa," and munched the grass. Bertie the watchdog barked and ran up and down along the front fence, trying to get out. He wanted to go to the picnic too. The pigs made noises. Angela the white cat meowed and hid high in the apple tree. And Wabbit the rabbit wriggled the end of her nose as though it tickled. Only Mouse was inside the house. It was nearly night time when Mother and Father, Sister and Brother and Baby came home from the picnic. What do you think they found? Visitors waiting on the front doorsteps? No. Bertie the dog had got out? No. He was there to welcome them home.
Woof, 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 woof.
But in the farmhouse kitchen, the cheese on the table had nibble marks all around it. When Mother packed the lunch basket, she'd forgotten to cover up the cheese and put it away. So, Mouse had had a picnic too.